Hey everyone, it's Anne Manera and we have another color along today. Today we are coloring with oil pastels and our topic is textures. Now, how do you do it, right? If this is your first time using oil pastels, what I recommend are a couple of different brands. I have this brand from Moped. I also have a brand from Craypaw. The Craypaw ones are really, really inexpensive. And I have them in just this little box. I don't have them in the original box. So what we're going to do today is we are going to create some textures with this, just with the actual oil pastels. So I'm going to start out with this purple. And I'm going to start out with this section right here. So one of the ways you can create some texture is by alternating your colors or alternating your lights and your darks on your pressure. So that's what I'm going to do with this section here. I'm going to do some light pressure, and then I'm going to add some dark pressure, some heavy pressure. So you've already got some texture or the appearance of texture on this with these, just this one color. So we're going to do different types of techniques to create texture in the different spaces of this particular illustration. You know, texture isn't all about something you can feel. Sometimes you can just see. You can see what the texture is. So there's that first texture. Now I'm going to move on with this red, which is called Red Kiss by Moped. And I am going to just kind of heavy, light. It's the same pressure basically, but you can still see the graininess that's in there, or you can see like the white showing through the red, and that's the pressure or the texture that I want to create for that one. Okay, now let's move on to, I've got this green color called Jungle Green, and for this one I'm going to go with some light pressure, some heavy pressure, and then I'm going to add another color on top of this, which will pick up where the lights are. And I'll use a yellow with this. Let's use Craypaw, kind of an ochre. The other way you can create a texture is by putting something behind the page. That would be cool. But for this demonstration, I am just adding the yellow on top of the green and really focusing on the areas that are not colored, where the white is showing through. And I'm not going to blend them together, because if you take two oil pastels and you color one on top of one another, you can blend them together and to form another color. All right, let's take a little bit of this, I just thought it was going to call it fuzzy, fruity orange. And for this one, I'm using kind of a medium pressure to color evenly in this whole area here. And then I'm going to take some red, just kind of streak it through. And on this side, I'm going to do the opposite of what I just did. So I'm going to use my red. Again, another, just like in the last color along, last week's color along, I am actually not removing, just like when we colored that grayscale page, I'm not removing my my pastel from the page, because I wanted it to have, like, you know, no starts and no stops, no start and stop. And now I'm going back in with my orange. And this is just the same pressure as the red. And it's just kind of creating a little bit of a you can see the texture that that's created. So we've got 1, 2, 3, we've got 5 different types of texture for that one. For the middle section, I'm going to go with this green color. This is a craypa one. I'm just going to kind of do a little bit of a crazy line there. And this is what I really love about oil pastels, is that you can blend them together. I mean, look at that. It's already creating a texture. You could almost use them in a painterly effect or style. So what's happening here is I'm blending it, but that green is still showing through, and I'm using this fluorescent type yellow. It's called fluo. I guess it's fluorescent, like abbreviated. And then we have that line. Let's move on to some pink. And I'm going to put pink on this section here. And on this section. Now, I'm purposely not covering the whole area with my color. And look, I got a little bit of green in there. That's okay. Maybe it's destined to have green with it. I don't know. All right, let's see. I don't really want green with it. I think I'm going to put some purple. Put some purple. And I am kind of letting it blend a little tiny bit. But enough that I can kind of see. And I'm going the opposite way that I colored the pink. So the pink, I colored a vertical direction. And now I'm coloring in the horizontal direction. And so that alone is creating a little bit of a texture. I'm going to give a little bit of a contrast here by adding some dark purple just in these circles with no other color mixed in, no other type of texture, because I just really want it to look like it's got a little bit of a contrast to it. So now I'm going to take my regular yellow and go in between here. And for this one, I'm going to try to do kind of a little bit of a scribble. And that alone will be my texture. Let's add some orange to these. And my texture is being created by starting with a dark and then blending to light. And the texture you can see is where the white is shining through. The graininess is happening. Let's put some blue on this horizontal line in the middle and do like what we did with the yellow and the green up there. I'll use the fluorescent one, even though I'm not really a fan of this color. And I'll blend it. So I'm blending the fluorescent with that blue. And you can just kind of clean them off with your fingers. These are non-toxic. I don't use any type of products that are not non-toxic. And then we've got this bottom section, and I'm going to use this green color, which is called Jade. One of the things I like about this Maped product is that all of the colors, all of the products have the same colors. So you can get colored pencils, you can get oil pastels, you can get markers, and they'll all have Jade, whatever the names are. The names are consistent across the whole thing. So again, I'm coloring horizontal in the vertical direction, vertical stroke. That's what I want my texture to be right there. I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom with Marina Blue. Again, not taking my oil pastel off the page, just kind of having it always touch. And I'm going to take a darker blue, which is called deep blue, and just kind of do the same thing over it. And kind of push some color into the areas. That's the good thing about oil pastels, is you can almost like push the color in to where you want it to be. And see the texture that's being created right there? That's the part that we really want to see. That texture that is being created by the difference between the lights, the darks, the graininess. All right, let's add some strawberry. And this one I'm going to color in a circular motion to create its own texture right there. Just the direction of what how you're coloring. Vertical, horizontal, circular. I mean, even if you added dots like you were doing a pointillism type thing, that could also be considered some sort of texture. Or you can add a different color on top of it to blend it. Let's add this blush color. And I'm doing circular on top of the blush, on top of the strawberry with the blush. And the texture, you can see the textures that are being created in there. And I'm not going to do anything else to this green section because I like what's there. So we blended a few colors. We worked with a few different techniques of creating a texture. So when you look at it, you want to be able to see the texture. You don't necessarily want to have to feel it, because that's not really what it's all about. That would be something totally different. But when you're coloring something, just creating that texture, and look how it looks if you flip it this way. Maybe even looks a little different. So thanks for watching today, and I can't wait to see what you create from this using this technique. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and I will be sure to answer them. Talk soon.